There's a provision within Social Security survivors benefits that's costing widows and widowers thousands of dollars in missed benefits. I'm going to cover that today. A few weeks back, I posted a video that covered Social Security survivor benefits. Now, this was a broad overview of the topic, and we briefly touched on the concept of the widow's limit. Now, this is an area where, as we speak, there are individuals who are not collecting Social Security survivor benefits who should be. And the result is thousands of dollars in missed benefits that many of these individuals could be using. So before we go any further, this video is aimed at those who have a deceased spouse that filed for benefits before they turned 64 and a half. So before we jump into this weird rule, let's go back and look at the basic eligibility. So let's talk about if the deceased spouse did not file for benefits and they died before full retirement age. Then the surviving spouse simply receives the greater of their own benefit or the deceased full retirement age benefit, which is then adjusted for the survivor's filing age. If the deceased spouse died after full retirement age, then the surviving spouse would simply be eligible for the greater of his or her own benefit or the benefit the deceased would have received if they would have filed on their day of death. So that includes any kind of delayed retirement credits. And again, though, that's going to be adjusted for the filing age, and I'll get to a chart in just a second that has all those reductions. Now, let's talk about if the deceased did file and break it down into the same two scenarios. So if they died on or after their full retirement age, then the surviving spouse can receive the benefit that the deceased was receiving at their death. Again, that amount is adjusted for the surviving spouse's full retirement age. I know you're getting tired of hearing that. But here's where it gets tricky. If the deceased spouse filed before their full retirement age, the surviving spouse is entitled to the actual benefit of the deceased or 82.5% of the deceased full retirement age benefit. And this is where the missed benefits that I was talking about at the beginning of this video come in. This is commonly called the widow's limit or the widow's cap. The Social Security Administration, though, they'll often refer to this with an acronym called the RIB-LIM, which stands for the Retirement Income Benefit Limitation. To fully understand how this widow's limit works, we have to understand how the benefit reduction works for the survivor's filing age. So in this chart, you see that if an individual files at age 60, they'll receive 71.5% of the full retirement age benefit of the deceased individual. Now, if the deceased individual had a full retirement age benefit of $2,000, the survivor benefit would be $1,430 or 71.5%. As the surviving spouse gets closer to his or her own full retirement age, the amount of reduction to their deceased spouse's full retirement age benefit generally decreases. So generally speaking, if an individual waits until his or her own full retirement age, they could receive the full retirement age benefit of their deceased spouse. But this is not the case if the deceased spouse filed for benefits before their full retirement age. In that case, the surviving spouse will be limited to either the actual amount the deceased was receiving or 82.5% of the deceased full retirement age benefit. I know that's a lot of words, so let me give you an example here. Let's say that Tom's benefit at full retirement age was $2,000, and since his full retirement age is 66, his benefit at age 62 was $1,500. Well, Tom chose like a lot of men and filed at age 62. But a few years later, Tom passed away. So how much does his widow Beverly receive? Is it based on the full retirement age benefit of $2,000 or the benefit he was actually receiving, the $1,500? The answer is neither one. Because Tom filed early, Beverly will always be limited to 82.5% of his full retirement age benefit. This means that no matter how long she waits, her benefit will never be more than $1,650. This means that if she delayed her filing beyond 62 and 4 months, her benefit's not going to increase, so she's simply missing checks at that point. So please make sure that you understand how this widow's limit works. whether you're trying to decide for your own situation or if you're advising someone else. Now, I'll link up some publications from the Social Security Administration in the description below that you can use for a resource, and that way you can make sure I know what I'm talking about. But also, this is something that I write about in my book, Social Security Basics. There's an entire chapter devoted to survivor benefits, and you can find that on Amazon. Well, I hope this video has been helpful, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Check out some of these videos coming up now.